Welcome to the show. Apparently, I don't know if you know this, but it's the end of the world and it's women's fault, and that's because Jesus hates you guys, ladies. I don't know what you did other than that whole Apple thing, which I mean, between the two of us, on the one hand, I have to recognize on your, it was probably a mistake, ladies. Am I right? The whole it was. I know. It was probably a pomegranate. Apples. What the fuck do they think this? Where do they think Eden was? The American Midwest? What kind of Mormon bullshit is this? I am. But ladies, on the one hand, it was a big. You fucked up. You really did with the whole apple thing, the pomegranate, whatever it was, fig, right? Can we just? Maybe if you just admit it, they'll all settle the fuck down. Secondarily, guys, I have to say, and hey, I'm not speaking for every guy out there. I'm just the kind of guy who believes in absolute personal responsibility, that maybe we could have not taken it just because she suggested. Since, this giant post-temporal being that created everything told us not to, and she hands us, like, have you tried these? And I'm like, oh, yeah, shit. Oh, no! What kind of... I'm just saying... We didn't have to follow her off the cliff, as it were. Yes, we were doing... we were doing fruit. And that's, by the way, maybe that's what the secret QAnon message is. Guys, I'm totally waking up to this. It's amazing. The whole Trump's whole thing about they were gonna do fruit, which sounds like a Madison Cawthorn cooking show. Ouch! I meant more the doing part than the fruit part, because I don't know that. Never mind. It's silly. Did we learn nothing from American Pie? That perhaps we should. Where am I supposed to set this? My desk is a wreck, and I have all this stuff on it. I feel like I don't know how some of these assholes do it. How in the world does somebody like Alex Jones? I mean, it's granted his desk is gigantic, and behind him is a giant squiggle of the United States written in amber dinosaur jizz. I don't know what that is. I don't think any of us know. But he's got his overhead. I'm going to have to set up one of those overhead projector cameras to show. All it'll show you is that I have my iPad. Hey, asshole. You can't be afraid of technology. Your studio's ginormous and is hooked up to the internet. Get an iPad. You could just sift through stuff. Maybe get one of those big Glenn Beck boards in front of you where you can swipe. Those things are sweet. He doesn't even know how to use it. And that's what you would see. You would see that I have a beverage. Today it is yerba mate in a lovely yellowish green container that is see-through. I'm drink the ghost juice, Alex. Don't be afraid. My Captain America beverage topper from when I saw, I think this was Civil War at the movie theater. That's there. Atmospheric aerosol, none of your goddamn business. Doesn't even show up at the green screen. It's meant to give you, when you're filming, a sort of smokier atmosphere. But you can't, it just vanishes in here. It'll just make me fuzzy for a second. My cam link in case everything goes to shit. Let's see. My weird yellow glasses, which are always here for a potential Kristen Cinema gag if I ever find her funny, which I really don't. You would see my Garfield phone, which, because it's yellow right here, is see-through. Hello. What else would you see? The fact that I have 2 utility knives on my desk. These are both right-hand flippers on my because I'm always attaching and cutting zip ties. Both are really good. Both of them have good belt clip holders on there. This black one is from Bear Edge. This one's sweet. This one's actually of the ones that I have, like it's got like a grippable handle, and then this little thing flips out, so you can kind of, I don't know. It's really helpful when I'm like under there, and I'm like, son of a bitch. So yeah, it's a good one. And then, oh yes, don't forget, I wasn't going to leave it out. A hamburger phone, an old unused Xbox controller that I used as a gag once. Remember that on the show? Like it was something we were watching, and I was pretending it was a game or whatever, and it's just been sitting here ever since. That's my desk. Oh, and I have a Rode, like my mixer there for a little bit of the audio. My Stream Deck had 2 keyboards and a mouse, and that's it. Meanwhile, this dickhead has like the front page of every known newspaper that he, by the way, tells you never to trust. Does it ever strike you guys as fucking weird that they bitch long and hard about the mainstream media? That's all we hear about. The corporate media, the mainstream media. It's corporate mainstream, the mainstream corporate media, right? That's all we ever hear, that they're under, like, from this asshole, they're controlled by the lizard, alien baby juice sucking monster things. But when it comes to like Jimmy Dore, they're the corporate, they're media, the establishment media, the whatever. They're always citing them. One would think that if these are untrustworthy purveyors of propaganda, that you could, that are always just trying to program your brain, you would never be able to pull a fucking headline even to support your thesis. Yes, Alex Jones kills a lot of trees unnecessarily. And that's just because, from years of sitting in that chair and taking bloat meds, there's no way he uses how can I put this? A refined amount of toilet tissue. I love you guys too, Tom and Mark. Hi, Mark. Sarpus, thank you guys. Hey, Wes. I can't believe people actually watch him. I can't either, actually, anymore. It's any of these assholes. It's one of the reasons why I'm as proud as I am about a lot of the predictions that I've made being rock solid. Not kind of like, well, if you think about it, it did work out. Like, no, it was Biden-Harris. They did win 306. They did beat Clinton they did beat Clinton's numbers by double and Trump's numbers by over 7 million, which was the number I called. Like, I warned everybody about COVID before it even had a name. Like, I feel pretty good about my track record, right? Right, guys? And eventually someone will wake up and go, this Sparks guy isn't talking out of his ass. Just saying. Meanwhile, this dickhead has been calling the end of the world for fucking ever. It's right, him and Glenn Beck, it's right around the fucking corner. And there's so many corners, it's like a bag of D&D dice. Hal, don't post clips right before you get live. I get excited you're going live. I'm sorry, that was my bad. I could do Karnak on the Tonight Show. This is true. This, by the way, this eye line right now is me looking at the chat room, just so you know. That's where the chat room is, with me looking at you. So if you see me looking in this area, I'm looking at you guys. That's where you are. That's how I know. Oh, hey, my Captain Cheeto. There he goes. Why doesn't Alex Jones get booted for misinformation? Well, first of all, you don't get booted from your own thing. And I have no interest in anyone being booted from their own setup. I don't give a rat fuck. He's on Rumble, and they're operating as a, free speech, ISIS-friendly, beheading and child porn-friendly zone, I suppose, because they'll let any asshole on there, clearly. If you'll notice, it says down here in the corner, Rumble. See that? Right down here? Yeah, right there. Boink. So if they want to carry his shit, they can carry his shit. I don't care. I'm not afraid of this idiot. I would debate Alex Jones on any point, his choice. Even shit he brings up rando, like, Pentaverate level stuff. I read David Icke's book in 1994. It's like first or second one, the big one. When I was writing a script, I was ghostwriting for a sci-fi writer when I was working like 3 tiers down at Paramount. Writing a script so that the writer I worked for could keep his development deal with Neufeld Ramey. I managed to work for the only sci-fi writer in the country that doesn't like to read. They're not all nerds, apparently, like me. So, anyways, anything he wants to bring up, I'm cool. Just start from fucking scratch. Quite frankly, any of these folks that I do videos about, like, I mean, I wouldn't enjoy it because, especially virtually it'd be hard because of the back and like the distance and the overlap. Whenever you have a guest, it's a pain in the ass because there's a delay and all that stuff. And in person, he stunk when I met him. There's no way that's changed. It has to have gotten worse. And it's weird because it's like a red wine stench. That's all I can. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If you know, like the office smells like coffee, and he smells like he bathed in red wine, and there's a hint of BO and then a mint to try and cover it. It's god awful. It's just awful. So I wouldn't like to be in the room, is what I'm saying. Anyways, this is called apparently. You heard lately that he's been bitching about the fact that he thinks QAnon is a psyop. And boo fuckity who. Basically because it was stealing his business model. That's why he's always had a problem with Q, because he didn't have the inside lane. So everybody did. That's what made it successful. And he was unable to monetize the fucking thing. So under this, learn how the deep state is planning to use Jan 6th to steal the erection, I suppose. That's why you need his dick pills. Exclusive. Steal the what? What are they going to steal? I don't know. I would like to say, for the record, how is it that these dickheads always seem to manage to give the greatest weapon to their opponents, right? They're going to turn this against us. Level 3 Hype Train already on Twitch. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe. Look, we've got 1,032. Oh my God. We're getting there. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. I haven't forgotten about you guys at all. We're trying to hit 35,000. We're trying to hit 100, but baby steps. Unlike some of these assholes I cover, I am not buying followers. I'm not going to do it. That doesn't stop any of you from buying them for me. I'm kidding. That's just joking. Okay, let's look at this.
Really important.
Oh boy, what's really important?
And so now we know it's really important because they are running on it.
Hi, dum-dum. I suppose we mean it is January 6th, but I don't know who the moron at InfoWars is that cuts your clips together so that they pick up mid-thought.
In the midterms in 183 days.
Especially when, they could cut some of the gaps out if they're worried about time.
Washington Post articles, Wall Street Journal articles.
Right. All the shit you tell people never to read because it's either a psyop or lies or propaganda.
New York Times articles this weekend that specifically say the committee is honing in on Roger Stone and Alex Jones for working with Trump and directing people to attack the Capitol.
Yeah, that's because it's May, and the live hearings are going to be in June, and people love the story, but there won't be any real explosive news in theory unless they bring somebody else in for questioning because they get a last minute subpoena and the person actually has to honor it. until like for a month, basically. So they're gonna have stories like this.
100% BS.
And if anyone knows bullshit,
We don't have a motive. It made us look like fools.
well, only because you lost, fucko. Like, believe me, if a team loses the Super Bowl by being fucking trounced like they're a toddler flag football team, their mistake was showing up, not the actual existence of the game.
B, there's no evidence of it because it's not true.
Okay, I'm glad that's the second part. Embarrassment first, lie second.
And C,
to shining sea.
I wasn't talking to President Trump for over a year before that ever happened. And
well, right. They said you were talking to Roger Stone. Roger Stone was talking to Rudy Giuliani, and Rudy Giuliani was doing that. They were creating a stiff arm plan. They were counting on assholes like you to do this anyways. And then other people you were connected to were coordinating that stuff.
Roger Stone,
who would later get bribes. By the way, can we just for a fucking second recognize that this asshole, if this was on the other side of the aisle, he would take every tenuous link and stitch it together into a welded conspiracy that is, obviously clearly a plot from the very, very top. And yet when it's him, he's like, I don't even know. What did I have to gain? I mean, it sounds like bullshit. Doesn't sound like bullshit.
was not involved in any of the planning of even our legal lawful events on the 5th or the 6th.
Well, yeah, he didn't have to. He was just arranging for you guys to have access. And by the way, that clearly means that. And is this another one of those fucking loop videos where he plays the same thing 3 times? I don't know. I don't want to judge, but your show looks toxic, Alex.
We've talked to a lot of the lawyers.
We have talked to a lot of the lawyers. The lawyer is one of the greatest Cro-Magnon lawyers that exists.
Or the 6. We've talked to a lot of the lawyers.
Of the lawyers.
That are representing January 6th political prisoners.
Yes, political prisoners. Just like the guys that got released on bail or their own recognizance, except they threatened to murder Congress people, and not all of them Democrats. And it's weird the judge won't let them out.
Almost all of them are just completely innocent.
Just completely innocent. Sure, there's video of them beating a cop while they're like, fuck this guy, with a Blue Lives Matter flag, macing cops, charging the line, attacking, like, unprovoked violence and stuff, and everybody else went the fuck home. But these assholes they're completely innocent. All of them virgins. None of them have ever even masturbated. They all wear collared shirts all the way buttoned up. And if you want to hear about the Lord, they're willing to sit down with you.
Of anything.
Of anything. Fuck you, nobody is innocent, completely innocent of everything.
And then those that are guilty are just guilty of going into a building and maybe getting in a shoving match with the police.
Yeah. Yeah, just you went into a building, you get into a shoving match with the police, according to Alex Jones. You ought to just let's say for shits and giggles that building is your ex's. And the cops are there because you have a restraining order and you have a gun on you, and they decide to take you in and you shove them before you reach for it. And according to Alex, the cops and your ex are completely in the wrong, all the way up to the point that they're in the coroner's van. Speak up!
But having that knowledge,
we're just all bees today.
But also researching this on a daily basis.
On daily basis. Daily basis is a dark web search engine. Or he could have been trying to say daily basis, and he used up one of his soft consonants early in the show. And
having my background knowledge on the deep state and knowing that the same FBI provocateur false flag team that ran.
Can you imagine being an alien, not speaking our language, and just going, how did this dog get a microphone?
And the fake Whitmer kidnapping operation that was then transferred to run January 6th. We know that thing was a giant honeypot that we were all lured into.
Well, you do now. Yeah, it was a giant honeypot that we were lured into. We now know how fucking stupid we were and how easily led we are.
That the Capitol Police were ordered to stand down.
No, they weren't. Well, some of them had to because they were overwhelmed like 1,000 to 1.
Half their numbers were sent away that day. That Trump's request for 10,000 National Guard was refused.
Yes, because what kind of an asshole, A, thinks you need National Guard troops surrounding the fucking Capitol just because some asshole's having a rally. Nobody really takes it that seriously. Well, we do now. But I'm guessing if Biden had a rally on January 6th of 2024, people would be like, oh, I don't know. Do we need, or maybe we need lawn chairs? Because make sure there's shuffleboard. We'll be fine.
He could have overridden it, but Milley threatened to quit if he did.
Because he was pulling up friendly National Guard from states that were involved in the lawsuit to try and overturn the election. Odd. It wasn't the California National Guard or the Washington State or Oregon or fucking even Illinois. It wasn't Georgia National Guard. It was oddly Texas and Florida. That's weird. Mississippi and Alabama.
And so now we know it's really important because they are running on it in the...
Jesus Christ. Get on with it. I think this video is only 20 minutes long because of the pauses. I don't know, Alex. I don't want to judge. But if you want to have a career in broadcasting, you're going to have to do something about the dead air. At least I have an excuse. Sometimes my mic is off and I have a cat in my lap.
The midterms in 183 days. Washington Post articles.
Why does it look like you have a migraine because you haven't shit in 3 days?
Wall Street Journal articles. New York Times articles this weekend that specifically say
we've seen this part.
The committee is % BS. Talking to President Trump for over a year before that ever happened.
Right.
Just incredible that they're trying to demonize lawful First Amendment activities. And then I see the same headline.
Demonize lawful First Amendment. They're not. First of all, the government is, I don't know if you know this, government is not in the demonization process. And even if they do, it means fuck all legally. The president, and you can see this from the Trump years, could come out to the podium and call somebody a prick, and it has legally it has zero impact on their life. As a matter of fact, they might be able to sue him for slander just for the fuck of it because of his position in government. They're not demonizing anyone, and anybody who didn't storm the Capitol went the fuck home. They didn't round people. You were there with other people. The fuck out of here.
Everywhere they've run against me. Oath keepers are talking to prosecutors and they're exposing their communications.
He's got a bit of a nervous look. He's got that kind of like, oh shit, Jeff Greenberg has some of my texts kind of a look on his face.
And it's going to go all the way up to Trump.
Alex mumbles like Sling Blade. Yeah. That boy sure did charge up them steps. They should have never taken that flag up there and gonna be used against us. Aliens have been down here a bunch of times, probing me in my rectal parts. But every time they gave me French fried potatoes and mustard, and I like it. That Alex Jones, he lives inside his heart. That's a mighty big place to live. Sorry.
They might as well say they're communications with the Martians.
Don't look at me. Are there? Rung, rung, rung.
And then I know the individuals that they're talking about because I've seen them in the press.
Seriously, how do you expect me not to pull this video and put fart noises in this later? How do you expect me not to do it? These gaps are ginormous. I'm sorry, but it must be done.
I've met some of them, and I like Oath Keepers overall. I think they had a good mission to promote following your oath.
Hey, he's got the same like ad block problem I have. It's the great equalizer.
They did great work for over a decade. I think some bad things happened on January 6th. We're not sure.
Yeah, we're not sure if any of this is bad. This doesn't look bad to you. This doesn't look chaotic and shitty. Look, it's the 3%er flag.
All the specifics.
Isn't that what that is? It's either that or a giant piece of juicy fruit with 3 strips of big red.
We know it was a honeypot provocateur.
Hold on. Stop calling it a honeypot unless there was an orgy in the dome. And if there wasn't, where's that video? I mean, none of us want to see it, obviously. It looked like a hog farm in a windstorm.
But I know some of the people they're quoting here.
Yeah, dummy, that's why you're in trouble.
As saying they're talking to the feds.
Yeah, you just know these people who are talking to the feds. How do you know them? What are they to you, Alex?
And are going to expose the chain of command.
By the way, what's with the urine-colored InfoWars graphic? Why is it pee-pee tape day?
And I just find it hard to believe that those people would actually make stuff up and lie.
Well, yeah, I mean, I find that hard to believe too, because if it turns out they were lying, the deal they made will be rescinded and they'll probably go to jail. So they're probably telling the truth about you. Mm-hmm.
But I'm not worried about it because I didn't do anything wrong.
I'm never gonna do anything. I don't know about you guys. I'm totally convinced. Watch it. I'm not worried about anything because I didn't do anything wrong. I don't even know Hey, listen here, Spinach Chin. I never even saw these assholes before.
Just find it hard to believe.
Yeah, it's the golden shower day, right?
That those people.
It does look like someone's peeing on him in slow motion. I don't know what this is.
People would actually make stuff up and lie.
Yeah, you know, man, I don't believe it. All right, sister. Okay.
But I'm not worried about it because I didn't do anything wrong. But it is in.
But I wouldn't even do anything wrong. But one of the things I would like to say, Your Honor, if I may, I know I am here, but I am too sick to testify.
Hundreds of publications a week conservatively. It's on national TV every day on one channel or another.
Well, it's a lot of channels. There's like 500 channels, and it's mostly you're seeing the same story again. You know, they do re-air. Never mind.
That I'm going to jail and Roger Stone's going to jail.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, the fashion police
and all the rest of this, and it is a bizarre feeling.
Wait till you get in jail. Sorry.
To know you did nothing wrong, to know there's no evidence you did anything wrong.
It's weird. I can see, it's almost like he's sitting across from Hillary Clinton at a bar, and she's like, tell me about it.
To know that you had no motive, and to know that you tried to stop what happened.
Did you? I tried to stop by just letting everybody else do it and cowering in my hotel room, which was oddly paid for by a friend of Ginny Thomas's and Judge Janine.
And quite frankly, I'm not asking for a medal, but
if you're handing them out, I do deserve.
Everybody else just stood there.
What'd you do instead of just standing there?
And then the 1,000 undercover FBI agents and hostage rescue team people that were there on record sat there while I tried to stop what was happening when I got there in the middle of it, and I did turn thousands away from going in, and sat there with their thumbs in their mouths, or worse.
Oh, all right. I hope they weren't doing them both at the same time. Maybe it was neighbors. Like, it sounds like how Roger Stone would play Red Rover. I'm just saying. Stick the right thumb of the person on your left in your mouth. Stick your right thumb in the butthole of the person to your right. Stick your thumb in the person at your mouth. Okay, no, I got that wrong. Let's start out. Everybody pull out. Now do the other. Swap over. Crisscross your arms and start.
And so it really infuriates me.
Really? To be falsely accused of something where that you had apparently no desire to even do, and to have somebody go on record every night on television and radio and shit talk you for months. Imagine if it had happened, I don't know, for decades. How the fuck are we? What, is this asshole literally boo-hooing about being falsely accused of something? For fuck's sake.
That they bare minimum knew there was some groups planning to go in there and get somewhat violent.
Did they knew bare minimum there were some groups that were going in there to get violent? You mean Oath Keepers and 3%ers and the fuckers you were talking to?
Democrats do it all the time in other capitals, but I agree.
We do? Oh, he means like Baghdad?
It's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. I mean, and by the way, by other capitals, he means targets in black neighborhoods, which he doesn't give a rat fuck about.
And the evidence is overwhelming. Went ahead and actually helped provocateur and get the whole thing started.
Yeah, they got it started. I mean, you guys obviously came up with the whole tasing a cop till he had a heart attack, and that was yours. I don't want to take any of that creativity away from you, Alex. You know what I mean? All the FBI supposedly did was hide in the trees like Predator and go, over here, over here, over here.
Well, they then watched me show up in the
There he is, up in them trees. I see you.
middle of it.
Predator, anybody? Just me? All right.
With my crew and get tear gas at a distance and try.
From a distance, the FBI is tear gassing us. From a distance, I'm crying and puking on my shirt.
Try to stop it.
I tried to stop from a distance.
And then they got the nerve
to cite Axios after calling everybody corporate media propagandists for the deep state and for aliens and shit.
Not just at the January 6th committee, but they got two different FBI, Justice Department teams. They admitted this to us.
Did they?
Trying to make a fake case and indict me.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't know if you know this, but undercover cops all the time. Sorry, everybody didn't like From a Distance. Didn't like me singing From a Distance. This asshole, apparently this is the portion where Alex Jones admits that he believes undercover police officers should have to wear uniforms because it's unfair when he gets busted. Is Broadway next, Hal? Yes, it is, Linda. Yes, it is.
And then the cherry on top is
it's more of a watermelon or a I don't know what like a one of those oversized state fair winning butternut squashes. Now, I'm not saying I want you to go up there and kick some ass, but if you did, I'll be right there behind you, facing the other direction, eating a snow cone.
They then
yeah, this doesn't look at all like you're guiding people to the destruction of our liberties. These people are monsters. And remember, this apropos, he's not standing on this pile of shit or wherever he is, riding the shoulders of his supporters like Bono, apropos of nothing. You have to understand, the only reason Alex Jones is holding a bullhorn and this crowd is listening to him is because he spent decades telling them that the people in the Capitol building are baby eaters. These assholes want to like act like their activist career started that afternoon. Like, I'm just saying some stuff. Yeah, stacked on top of all the stuff that you've said over the years, that these people are not just political people you disagree with, or maybe have a different ethical priority than you have, or a different philosophical or religious view than you have, but that they are fucking monsters and they murder children and fucking drink milkshakes made out of mulched babies. Then you stand up there and go, these are the monsters I was telling you about. And then you're like, I didn't know they were going to run up there.
Leak through the press lies that, oh, I'm coming out of the dark. I'm coming in out of the cold. I'm going to tell them everything.
Oh, okay. This is what he's really dealing with. Are we getting to this part where his own friends are turning on him? Like, you better not fucking, because of the texts I've sent you.
I'm going to rat Trump out and all this made up stuff because they were calling us over and over again for months, asking us to come meet with them. And I said, no.
Trump or?
They said, what do we come to you? I said, well, why don't you drop your fake charges on Owen Schroyer? Why don't you give me written questions? I have nothing to hide, but I'm not.
I have nothing to hide, but I'm not actually. What do you think I'm going to do? Go into the Capitol? I've seen violence break out in that place.
Going to get in a perjury trap where they get some lying stool pigeon to say I did one thing, and then they say I lie when I'm not lying, so they can indict me like Martha Stewart. You think?
Yeah, that's not how that works. They indicted Martha Stewart because they had the how she actually bought and sold stocks on the day she got information, so she heard things that day or whatever. This is that's not how you get in a perjury trap. The way you get a perjury trap is they have your fucking emails and your texts, asshole. You know who you should call, who might be able to, if you're genuinely innocent, this will help. If you're not, you're fucked. You should talk to Hunter Biden. He's been pushing back on lies like this for a while. He might be able to give you some pointers. I don't know.
I'm stupid.
Yes, I do. Yes, I think you're stupid. I think you're dumb too. Dumb is sort of an accident. You know, stupid's on purpose.
I mean, I'm not that smart, but I'm not an idiot.
Well, I mean, there's gray everywhere. You know what I mean? Intellectually.
You are a discredited government agency that ran fast and furious and shipped tens of thousands of guns into Mexico, on record to blame the Second Amendment in America.
Yeah, you're just gonna pull that out of your ass. Massive 50 caliber used to shoot down helicopters found inside El Chapo's Mexican was sold through government fast and furious. Yeah, dude, how do you think undercover drug stings work? All of this stuff went through. And that's how they bust people. That's how they ultimately got El Chapo, you stupid motherfucker. They actually got him. Part of the reason is because they built a case over years. Good God.
So now Mexico can
fucking January 2016
sue gun makers, which they're doing. And then a bunch of the guns.
What? How is that related? The fuck? What is it, under the El Chapo rule?
Got shipped to ISIS and Al Qaeda. That's all come out.
Sure. Well, yeah, because they sold some stuff to. That's how like fake drug deals work too. They don't just sell baby laxative and hope nobody snorts it. Can you imagine what Don Jr.'s day would be like if that happened? He'd be, first of all, he'd barely be able to stand up. And secondly, he'd be shitting baby food all day.
Yeah, El Chapo's 50 cal sold
with a bunch of other shit in a tracked shipment to find out where it went from and where it went to. Dude, the cartels are using chemicals to make fentanyl. The precursors to fentanyl, some of the stuff most of it they get from China. Some of it they're getting from companies in Arizona. The FBI is involved in trying to stop that. They can't stop the China-Mexico part of it because those are foreign countries. We have to use the State Department to deal with that because it's not our fucking country. We can stop it when it comes at the border. But those things being made in Arizona, shipped to Mexico, and turned into fentanyl is what the FBI gets involved in. And one of the ways they get involved in that is they sell a little bit of it or buy a little bit of it and go, yep, that's the fucking guy. There he is. He's on video. There he is. Yeah. Serrano's got the discs.
through that operation where the ATF
Yeah, look.
false flagged.
The false flag. They fucking got him. That's him. You stupid son of a bitch. How does this work?
I mean, to try to list the crimes of this government.
All right. This government. Fuck you, man. The fact that you can even have this show shows that nothing that you say about this government is true. If any of the stuff he's been saying about rather than run-of-the-mill, either corruption or failed systems that we all work on all the time, the constant gardening of actually having to have a fucking working government and a working society, which no one gets to skip at all. Everything outside of any of that shit was true. Remember FEMA camps? Remember how they were making plastic tubs to round up conservatives? Remember Jade fucking Helm? Remember, like, this asshole did months on fucking Jade Helm, accusing our soldiers of giving their gear to UN shock troops so they could plan to, I don't know, take Texas or some bullshit when it's already part of the fucking country. How he didn't, after Jade Helm turned out to be nothing, I'll give you 3 fucking years. Not like, well, it went off without a hitch. Well, maybe they're planning something in the future. No, fuck that. Wait 3 years and then come in and burn your own fucking studio to the ground. How fucking dare you? And he went on like this for fucking ever. And then when nothing came of it, when Jade Helm was just an exercise, America used its own land to do a major military exercise to deal with the possibility of an invasion or terrorism, because they have to war game these things so that they have a strategy in case real shit happens. What does he do? Does he go, I was wrong about Jade Helm. I apologize to our military soldiers and our veterans and our generals who take an oath to protect this fucking country, while I demonized them and added them to the pile of baby milkshake drinkers. No, he bumped off and just started calling Sandy Hook a false flag and saying that the parents who lost their fucking children were lying. They never had children in the first place. Fuck off. And now he wants to boo-hoo? Good Lord.
And the criminals that have taken it over would take hours, but it's just too rare.
Well, I'm sorry. You've got extra time if you need to talk. Just fill the gaps where you're thinking.
It's just, it's too much, but here's why listeners need to care.
Because Eric Holder was not forthcoming about the details of Fast and Furious, because it ultimately ended up in them catching El Chapo, and they were in the middle of it. And also, they're now saying, okay, the guys who did Fast and Furious, next thing to tell me is the same military that brought us Vietnam is going to tell me that some of the soldiers that fought in Afghanistan and Iraq were serving honorably. You going to tell me that? Like, fuck off.
The Justice Department and the Capitol Police, that there are imminent terror attacks on Supreme Court justices and on members of Congress and on others, while Democrats firebomb buildings and burn things down and attack things and beat people up and violently protest outside Supreme Court justice houses.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to take 2020 George Floyd protests, all the protests and the riots, and stack them up and act like the people who are outside of the Supreme Court justices' houses are doing the same fucking thing because they're spray painting chalk outlines to represent dead mothers and spray painting fucking coat hangers on the ground. Conflate them. Go ahead.
The corporate media and the
corporate media. You mean all the media's sources you've been citing as referential to the story you're fucking telling? Don't fucking do this. This drives me crazy all the fucking time. The corporate media is the corporate media. All the corporate media does is this. Meanwhile, as I can prove to you with this clip from the page from Washington Post, the page from the Washington Times, the page from the Guardian. Here's the Daily Mail. All these corporate entities that tell you this. I'm using the details in their story to prove my point. Get the fuck out of here.
Government Gestapo, the brown shirts, the Praetorian.
The Praetorian Guard.
They're saying that we, the people, the populace, are the ones that are going to be violent. which again means they're priming the false flag.
Oh, I see. It all comes back to Jade Helm, I guess.
False flag alert. False flags be blamed on patriots imminent.
False flags on patriots are imminent. Or women are pissed that their rights are being taken back to the early 20th century.
And we've
Oh God! Fuck! Please sell
been getting
Bitcoin.
a lot of crypto donations, which is keeping us on air.
Not as much as they used to, I guess,
I
asshole.
want to salute all those. You know who you are.
Yes, please. If you're going to support InfoWars, please use crypto. I'm sure it's not making them sweat at all.
Given the donations, please go.
Also, crypto can be tracked. All crypto payments are as easily tracked as any credit card payment. I'm sorry. What do you think? You get to operate outside the system magically with the whole system unaware of you, and yet still buy the shit that's in the system with everyone else?
Go to info.
It's like this is like an asshole who thinks that I can sexually assault anybody I want as long as I'm not in the room with them. If I reach through a window and I'm outside the building,
wars.com /
no, / whatever. Okay,
wherever it is, whether it's $1,000 or $1 million.
yeah, fuck off.
The real revolution is happening now. Infowars.com /
It's infotainmentwars.com. Like and subscribe. We don't need all the documents and shit all over the desk. We can even with a cracked screen, this iPad works just fine. Yeah.
/ crypto and all of you that donated, we salute you and thank you.
He's gonna run the same fucking clip again, isn't he? It's gonna be the
All right,
same.
let me get back to.
Yeah, let's get back. Ooh, I didn't know they were taking calls.
The permanent bureaucracy.
Mm-hmm. Mental note.
The permanent state, the deep state, those are all.
Yeah, they're all the same thing. Permanent state, deep state, establishment, the corporate blah, 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 rhinos. That's, yeah, basically they all overlap. They're one big sludge of anybody you wish you were a part of, but at the same time smoke too much weed to trust.
Academic names that go back more than 40 years.
40? That's it? We're going to the mid-80s?
For what is inside the system.
Oh, okay, for inside, I see. But what's outside this? What's adjacent to the system?
And when I would talk about that 25 years ago, the media would say he's insane.
Right. Now they just say you're a grifter and an idiot.
There's no such thing as a deep state.
And still, there isn't. What they mean by deep state and what a lot of people mean by establishment is simply bureaucracy. Sorry, if you're going to have a country this big with the world's largest economy and a government to match, you're going to have some bureaucracy. You're going to have some appointed people, some hired people. You're going to have some outsourced departments, and you're going to have some cabinet people who are chosen or people who are selected by elected representatives, because we can't afford to have a fucking election for every fucking janitor in the federal government. It's fucking dumb. Deep state.
There's no such thing as a stay behind network. There's no such thing as any of this.
There's no what? There's no such thing as a stay behind network? Oh my God. Forget the Illuminati. It's the babysitters.
When I would talk about that 25 years ago, the media would say he's insane. There's no such thing as a deep state. There's no such thing as a stay behind network. There's no such thing as any of this. Now today.
Yeah, by the way, what kind of a fucking moron thinks that when we get a new president, the whole government switches over? Who would even want that? Right? He was saying Bill Clinton was bringing Russian troops, disguised UN troops, to take over. He's a loony and a con man. Yes. And he's made millions of dollars. Hopefully a lot of those millions will go to the Sandy Hook families.
They have meetings on television on C-SPAN with Brennan and Clapper. You remember those a few years ago where they said Trump will be gone. We have the bureaucracy, and we're going to have a coup and remove him.
They were that clear about it, were they? We're going to have a coup and remove him. I had no idea that the deep state was so shallow in their vocabulary.
And they were doing that to show their power and exercise their power.
Which I guess they have. And yet they were able to unseat Trump using a tricky thing called an election that he lost fair and square. But somehow, as try as they might, as hard as they can't stop Alex Jones from pissing on himself on television.
For their gangs, to encourage their gangs inside the government, corporations, and the judiciary.
Please tell me that there's a gang inside the judiciary that looks like the baseball Furies from the Warriors. Can you dig it? All right.
And media.
Look what we have here. We've got the DOJ right beside the FBI. Nobody is wasting nobody.
To break the law, to do whatever they wanted, to leak information, you name it. And that's what you see now is populists and Christians and conservatives.
All three things I would never use to describe you to anyone.
Aren't breaking the law.
Well, that's why you're not currently in jail. You just encouraged others to do it.
We're not leaking information.
Well, that's him telling his buddies not to get pissed at him.
We are not doing...
By the way, this has got to be rough, I have to say. In deference to this dipshit, who is a human being, allegedly. Wouldn't that be funny? Like, I'm a human being just like you are. I got what the fuck is zip? It looks like the creature from the Upside Down. That can you imagine cultivating an audience like this fucking monster has for all these years, and then them turning on you? Like, I get occasionally, because I don't like, I'm not a big fan of jargon. I try to speak about complex issues in a complex way, that there's some purists out there that don't like me. And so over the years, I've lost a couple of them along the way because I wouldn't just hammer a single nail into someone. I kind of want to be able to talk these things out. I know it's insane, right? And they've kind of split up, but I don't fear any of these people. Ultimately, I think they're good people. They may be misguided, or we just have a difference of opinion on tactic or function, right? Which is totally cool. That's what a democracy is about. But can you imagine cultivating the kind of lunatics that he must have in his base, his prime audience, and then them finally deciding that you're a deep state in disguise, a plant, right? I'll put an Amish hat on Alex. That would be fitting. I don't know. He could do that. Let's see. I'll have to, do I have the, I'll see if it opens. Hold on. We'll see what we can do. It would look right though. He does look like he's ready for a barn
doing
raising.
Dirty tricks, and I'm not saying we should.
Roger.
While they, on the other side, are doing anything and everything they want, however they want, and they never get in any trouble for it. So how do we not sink to their level at the same time, beat them?
Well, I will say this. Both of these guys who you obviously have a problem with spoke under oath in front of Congress. That's one of the ways that what they're saying doesn't come to bite them in the ass ultimately, is because they've said it under oath and they stand by what they say, as opposed to just blathering it into a microphone. And if anybody subpoenas you or tries to call you to talk about stuff, you want to answer your questions on paper so you and your lawyer can weasel your fucking way around it the same way you did in the Sandy Hook trial.
We expose them and let people know the reason they're going bankrupt, the reason their dollar's devalued, the reason their borders are wide open, the reason...
What do you mean? First of all, what are you, not an American now? Fuck you. Texas's economy would collapse if Mexico's economy went down. You understand that? As a singular state, the rest of the country would feel it, but Texas would be fucked. What do you mean there? That's odd. No, you strike that as odd? I mean, the fuck is this America First MAGA stuff? And the dude, it's like Trump always saying our country instead of America, as if that what they really mean is the Confederate States.
And there's all this pedophilia going on.
Well, I mean, you're going to have to ask your friends.
It's because these are predatory, very bad, wicked people that...
Again, listen to this motherfucker. He doesn't have an issue with them, that Fast and Furious was a hidden program that eventually, ultimately was successful in helping capture El Chapo, things like that, or that these intelligence guys are giving testimony that he disagrees with, or he doesn't think they're fully forthcoming or whatever. It isn't that. It's that they're fucking pedophiles. Good Lord. And then you're going to stand up with a megaphone on a day like January 6th when Trump has said you're going to be strong and we're not going to have a country, and you're going to stand there and point at that building and say they're all in there, and not expect a bunch of these people, the Ashley Babbitts of the world, fucking lunatics who've had their own empathy for children weaponized against them through this brainwashing bullshit. You don't think those fuckers aren't gonna go, well, these cops have to die because I've got to save the kids? It's exactly what this shit is.
Want to crash the world economy.
No, they don't.
For depopulation and everything else horrible and evil they do that they enjoy.
40 population? 4 dimensions, or 40? There can only be 40,000 people on the earth.
Is just part of the enjoyment of getting to where they're trying to go.
Yeah. It's just, even if they're not successful, destroying the entire world and lowering the Earth's population to 40,000 people, which I guess would be them and 39,000 kids. Whatever the fuck. They're having so much fun getting us there and destroying I wish the world wouldn't be destroyed just so I could keep destroying it. Geez, that's not projection or anything, is it, Alex? If anything sums up Alex Jones's bullshit, this, and the same with the fucking Flashpoint guys and Glenn Beck, the end of the world is right around the corner, but let's not turn that corner because I'm making some sweet fucking scratch.
So getting back to where we are, there's all these headlines everywhere.
Oh, God.
Oath keepers are talking to the feds. Oath keepers are discussing with the feds, conversations with Trump, stuff like this, when none of that happened.
How would you know? If you weren't connected to the Oath Keepers and Trump, and you hadn't spoken to Trump in a year, how the fuck do you know they weren't talking to him? Apparently they say they were. So you do know what they were talking about and who with. You're starting to get a picture why the January 6th committee might want to talk to you, asshole.
None of that went on. And then the control.
Again, how do you know none of it went on if you didn't talk to any of these people? I wasn't talking to any of these folks, but I know exactly who they were talking to and what was said. What?
Old left goes, look, Jones is protecting the Don, his mafia boss. Why? He's saying they didn't, because it's a lie. That's why I'm not protecting Trump.
Well, not anymore. I think you're covering your own ass. I think you got enough to worry about covering for yourself.
But if they're able to demonize and lie about Trump, they're going to be able to demonize the American people.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you as the average American or even world citizen, how can any of us be more innocent than Donald John Trump? Who among us hasn't conspired with our father to keep black people from renting our apartments? Who among us hasn't wandered through an accounting firm that we were hiring and said, I don't want black people counting my money. I want the people with the small hats. Who among us doesn't have 27 credible sexual assault allegations against us, including very possibly a 13-year-old girl? Who among us, right, Alex, hasn't told Jeffrey Epstein a joke that embarrassed him? All right.
They're branding, all demonstrating, all protesting, open borders, gun control, election fraud, lockdowns, forced injections as terrorists.
No, they're not. If that was true, then all the other channels complaining that nobody from the George Floyd riots, for example, has gone to jail, which a bunch of them have, or that none of the Antifa people have gone to jail, which a bunch of them have.
They're trying to brand all
The Georgia Guidestones is his reference for the depopulation. Oh, okay, that's why it all starts in Georgia.
opposition in America as terrorism and really bring us into a full-bore authoritarian top-down police state. We aren't getting there. We are deep inside of it now.
Are we? Is that why it's yellow? I mean, it looks like you're in the rotten outer colon of InfoWars. So, that stuff that's happening in Shanghai. I don't know if you know this, but that's 10 times worse, and it's happening right now in the United States. You think you can go outside? Fucking try it. See what happens to you. Go make a cardboard sign and stand outside of a Supreme Court justice's house. See if they don't call you a terrorist. And actually, you can go home. Oh, as long as you don't engage in any violence, you're free to go. Oh, weird. Well, one thing I do know for sure is we still don't have a fucking, free speech. We don't have a First Amendment rights in this country, or somebody like Alex Jones would be able to go to a studio every single day with a ginormous backdrop that's paid for with thousands of dollars of money that he got from his viewers that keep the lights on at the... Oh, well, shit.
Complete with a ministry of truth?
No, it's a misinformation governance board, so they can check on messaging from outside the country coming in. That's why it's in DHS and not a part of the FBI or the DOJ. If you notice, if you weren't fucking stupid, you'd be aware that that's specifically why it's in DHS and why its governance has to do with the permeable borders of information in the United States, and the fact that the Chinese, the Iranians, the Russians have chosen to weaponize it. Even the Saudis, in an attempt to undermine our standing in the world, which you used to apparently give a shit about, but apparently ever since you were replaced with, by an alien after Jade Helm, you don't seem to care about anymore. You slip every so often, don't you, Alex? And you say your country when you're talking about America, their country when you're talking about America, when you're supposedly in it. How do we know you're not on a base on Mars?
With sensors and surveillance and all the controls?
Yeah, all the controls. You mean the like the fader on the mixer that's your mic is going through that allows it to go out on the airwaves and on radio and on some cable systems and on the internet? Fucking hell.
When America does something, it does it big. And boy, are we doing it big here. So
somebody just made a boom boom in his pants.
When I see these headlines, I don't believe them.
Well, then why are you even worried? What the fuck are you worried about? Whether you believe him or not, apparently, again, this might be him telling the truth to everybody. He may very well be saying, I don't believe these headlines, but I'm worried that some of my asshole, nutcase, psychopath followers will believe them, and now I'm scared to go to my car, not because the deep state's coming to get me, not because of aliens or lizard people, not because of a Jewish space laser is going to be targeting me. No, it's because some rando incel fuckwad that I sold dick pills to for years is going to go, wait a minute, this asshole's full of shit. It's why he has security. Alex Jones does not have security because he's worried about me or you or any of the people who mock him on Twitter or anywhere else. Alex Jones has security because of his own fucking viewers.
Now, may there be some fake informants inside the Oath Keepers that were there all along?
Well, you can't have a fake informant. you can either have an informant or you can have an undercover agent. The undercover agent would be fake. They would be pretending to give a shit about whatever you're pretending to give a shit about. Listen up, Alex. This is good stuff. I'm glad you're paying attention. You know, Alex, an informant is a legitimate member of an organization who either has second thoughts about the tactical applications of what's being done in that organization, and therefore is concerned that it might go too far, kill some innocent people and the like. That it would be someone who, you know, that the Timothy McVeighs of the world would have to exclude from their discussion so as not to be found out. And that's why you're always trying to get a hold of people like that in any dangerous organization. And then there are undercover agents who never were a part of the group, but pretend to be in an attempt to undermine the organization because of its dangerous goals and the fact that it might try to kill people or that innocents might die or even guilty people might die, because that's my, you get my point. He gets my point, don't you? Sorry, Aaron's saying, anyone who feels it's necessary and appropriate to discuss Alex's weight, please watch Liberal Dan's video he posted yesterday about fat shaming. I've said this many times before. There's fat and then there's bloated. What Alex Jones has here is, I mean, I'm sure he's got some element of him that is overweight because of lethargy or, you know, bad eating habits. He's bloated from the stuff he takes. Just saying. And there's a very distinct difference between that. Again, I'm sort of oddly sticking up for you and also giving you a warning, Alex. I'm just saying. I'm just saying there's too many lead and heavy metals in your dick pills, and they don't put lead in your pencil. That's a euphemism, you prick you.
That will now speak for the Oath Keepers and help.
Well, no, they'll inform on the Oath Keepers because of what they either recorded or conversations they engaged in digitally, emails, text messages, recorded voicemails and like, which they can turn over, and then they can actually speak to conversations they were witness to or had themselves, but not secondhand ones. That would be hearsay. As we have all learned many, many times over from the Deb Hurd trial. And so, no, this isn't new.
Help direct them into their prison cells. Yes, there's no doubt that's happening. But I know when I see headlines that the Oath Keepers are running around.
Well, that's weird. You didn't that cop just fell down, did he? Is that what happened? He just tripped. You know, those Capitol Police, man, just clumsy.
Around lying about people. I don't believe it.
You don't believe it? All right, there's obviously, maybe he just got lip filler.
And you know why I don't believe it? Because the
Thanks, 250. I appreciate it.
Same.
And Anna spells her name with one N, and I hope she doesn't have COVID, and if she does, I hope she gets well soon. Even though she's an awful person. She's, yeah.
Media that's saying that says I called the feds a month ago and said I've got information, but give me immunity and I'll tell you what really happened. No, they came to me and said, we want to talk to you. And I said, give me total immunity so you can't make up stuff and charge me with perjury.
Oh, so you did. Fucking hell. Wait a minute. What? Dude, that's the same thing. I didn't call them. They didn't call me. I didn't call them. They called me, asked me for help, and I was like, give me immunity and glad to. What the fuck? You don't need immunity if you're not guilty of other shit. Fuck it. Listen to that.
And said, I've got information, but give me immunity and I'll tell you what really happened. No, they came to me and said, we want to talk to you. And I said, give me total immunity so you can't make up stuff and charge me with perjury.
It's a true story. Fuck you, dude. Do you, oh my fucking God. Do you think anybody in this asshole's audience would accept that if Hillary Clinton said that during the Benghazi hearing, like in an interview, do you think everybody in his audience will go, well, I mean, that's what you're going to do. Get the fuck.
And we told him there is no information. Everything we've said is on record.
Well, then why do you need immunity to talk further? I mean, fucking get a bigger shovel, dude.
It's all been true. It's all on video.
It is? All of it? So you had a camera on you everywhere you went on January 6th. What'd you do? Shoot a fucking documentary, a fucking YouTube vlog? Where's that lost footage?
It's all transparent. It's all First Amendment protected behavior. You guys are disgraceful even following the orders to do this.
You guys are disgraceful even following the orders to do this. You're just following orders. You know what you are? You're National Socialists.
And their spin is Alex Jones called the feds.
No, I didn't call them. I called them back. Okay? I was busy. I had 4 bottles of red wine and a chocolate cake, and my lawyer and I were crying over the payments I was going to have to start making to the Sandy Hook parents, which I have to apparently say now without making air quotes fingers, or I'll go to jail. Fuck, I'm going to burn my throat out if I keep doing this prick.
And he wants to come tell them what really happened.
Yes, that's what you just said you said.
And then they have these maps they put out on TV.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, by the way, Alex Jones is 4 years younger than I am. Almost 5.
That show Trump up at the top, and then Meadows under him, and then other, and then and Don Jr., and then Roger Stone, and then me, and it goes down, and it's fiction. Just like it's fiction that the Oath Keepers are a terrorist organization. You know how many videos we have on Man.Video that they'll take down off Twitter or Facebook or YouTube because they don't want you to know the truth? In fact, put it back up, please.
On Manned Up?
Of the Oath Keepers saving police and trying to stop people going in the building on January 6th. We just had it on screen.
Put it back up on screen. Who the fuck do I have working here today? Oh shit, I had to fire everybody because I don't have enough money to run the staff on this giant fucking space station set. And it's below me to just run a show like Hal Sparks does with a button on his fucking desk with a graphic that he made himself. This asshole's a millionaire doing this shit. Wrong about everything. Liar. Bullshit artist. And he can't, and it's below him to run his show the way I do mine? Fucking, is the info...
For TV viewers.
At least he's got the InfoWars cube rotating. I need to make an Infotainment Wars cube down there. Like Infotain and then Mint Wars on a cube.
Will put it back up for me. I'll give it to radio listeners.
What the fuck? What? Gary, flip the fucking switch, man. Gary. Dear God. Gary's dead. He's been dead for weeks. What's this? He's been poisoned. Alex Jones penis pills. You dumb son of a bitch. Why?
But the reason this is so important is because...
Get on with it! For fuck's sake! I'm on the edge of my seat. Why is this important?
They are framing the American people, just like they're framing the million people that came to D.C. as terrorists.
What? Attention Americans who are watching my show, those folks that are Americans just like me in the country that I live in, that I will admit to living in and will refer to in the first person as part of my country, the country I live in as an American in America, unlike this asshole who needs to stiff arm the definition all of a sudden. You think he's got dual citizenship in like Turkey, like Mehmet Oz or some shit all of a sudden, so he can bug the fuck out and do his show from, maybe he's going to move in with Glenn Greenwald. They can make Hitler porn together. Yeah, look that up. Yes, Glenn Greenwald, Hitler porn exists.
Because maybe
he liked to be called Dom Herr, as my Damen und Herren, ladies and gentlemen in Russian, but Yeah.
couple hundred, mainly provocateurs,
Yeah, mainly.
got in fistfights with the police, and then the police opened the doors.
Not so much, because if you'll notice, those people are in jail right now and said, yeah, I punched that cop. This is me. That's me hitting him with the flag and that kind of, yeah. You do realize that it's fucked up that if you're standing near someone and they start punching a police officer for the fuck of it, joining in is not acceptable. Right? You do know that, right? And if you think it is, where the fuck do you get off calling yourself a Christian conservative patriot? What do those words fucking mean?
And based on that, they're trying to roll out their literal re-education camps and their Patriot Act for the American people.
I'm sorry, did we fall through a fucking time hole? Was this 2001?
And then that leads us to this. Obama's AG, Eric Holder, tells me that while he initially thought indicting former President Trump would be too divisive, he now thinks there is evidence enough that he should be held accountable for his role in January 6th.
Right. He waited a whole year and change to come to that conclusion. You might have a case here, asshole, if he said it as the former AG on, say, I don't know, January 10th. I've seen enough. Throw the bastard in jail, right? That would be the concept behind an abuse of power or using one's former status as an AG to drive a case. It's been a year and a fucking half. Secondarily, Obama's AG, he's not in office. It's his opinion. But please, tell me about Huma Abedin. Where should Huma Abedin be right now, Alex Jones? She was Hillary's assistant, right? You were saying like she needs to be chummed or something? Again, what the fuck? Oh, I think this is him trying to tie it to Fast and Furious. You know, the government probe that helped them catch El Chapo.
And let's not forget...
Well, I've already forgotten why I give a fuck.
Who Eric Holder is.
He's, according to you, he's Obama's AG.
He got caught running Fast and Furious.
Where was he going? Was it a speed limit? I mean, is it a jogging only park? Or was he exec producing one of the movies? They're about family, you know.
Hundreds of thousands of guns total into Mexico, to the drug cartels, and to ISIS and Al Qaeda.
Yes, and then they used it because of the people who were actually doing the transporting to arrest those people and then eventually bust El Chapo. Yes, it was an undercover sting. That's how undercover stings work. You only give a shit now that they're using it against you.
That all came out in the news, and now he's climbed out from underneath a rock.
Did he? I think he was asked a question on... Maybe they keep him under a rock at NBC News. I don't know. It's pretty cush over there.
And is now saying we need to arrest the president.
No, a former president. And and indict him. There's a difference between that, like arresting him or whatever. He can be indicted and then he could turn himself in, get bail or that kind of stuff, or he could work out some sort of thing to show up for prosecution as a former president. He'd probably be given some sort of leeway just because of the amount of fucking security it would take. Never mind.
Even though he obstructed it and got caught lying and all of it came out. Now,
opinion. Weird. Opinion from where? Is that Axios? Eric Holder, contempt of Congress and Fast and Furious, what you need to know, David Graham. The scandal that started it, how executive privilege works, and what might come next in the House investigation. 2012, we're going back to
escalate the situation by arresting the real president.
Real former president, which is even weird to say.
That even the majority of Democrats know really won the election. You know, take Jill Biden.
Jill Biden. Yeah, she just went to Ukraine.
Her husband supposedly got more votes than anybody in U.S. history.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Trump was that unpopular, and people felt safer in the hands of Joe Biden. Yeah. That's the face I'd make if I backed Trump from the beginning as well.
11 million more, but she can only sell 240 books in the first week of her book coming out.
I think that's Meghan McCain you're talking about. Literally, I think he's confusing. That story's about Meghan McCain.
240 something books.
Yeah, Meghan McCain sold 244 books. Yeah, she's blonde too. But hey, maybe you guys don't fucking know. You don't know. He's got the documents. Maybe all blondes are like threaded together through the multiverse, and you can just name one and they qualify.
Oh, but Donald Trump could sell 10 million.
Coloring books. Look, he can't even write one.
None of it's true, and everybody knows it.
Yes, none of it is. It is not true that Jill Biden wrote Meghan McCain's book and Meghan McCain sold Jill Biden's book, and therefore people didn't want to buy Jill Biden's book from Meghan McCain. Fuck me.
But here's the Eric Holder comment.
Merrick Garland, you mentioned, he's now in your old job as Attorney General. There have been critics of him who say that he isn't being aggressive enough around the prosecutions regarding January the 6th. Do you think that's right?
No one knows. I mean, I have great faith in Merrick and in the people at the Justice Department. We won't really know how aggressive they have been until they are before a camera and announcing a decision, either to indict certain people or not indict certain people. But here's my prediction. At some point, people at the Justice Department, perhaps that prosecutor in Atlanta, are going to have to make a determination about whether or not they want to indict Donald Trump. There's going to be...
Would you do it?
Well, I think there's going to be sufficient factual information, and I think that there's going to be sufficient proof of intent. And then the question becomes, what's the impact of such an indictment? I'm an institutionalist. My initial thought was not to indict the former president out of concern of how divisive it would be. But given what we have learned, I think that he probably has...
Like, this is horrifyingly sensible. All of it. I don't know if you guys find this as terrifying as I do, but can you imagine someone considering the multitude of possibilities from a circumstance and not just having a knee-jerk reaction? The fuck is this world coming to?
To be held accountable.
What you have learned is that you guys ordered a stand-down and provocateur the operation with the same FBI team that ran the fake Whitmer kidnapping.
Measure it says the DOJ. Okay, it's not related, but
We know
anything that covers Alex's face is fine by
there
me.
was 1,000
Also, you're citing Business Insider again. Motherfucker.
paramilitary, FBI, and auxiliaries in the crowd, and you did nothing to help those police officers when they were outnumbered by the few hundred thugs.
Well, yeah, they did. They called in more people. They also had some of the police cordon off an area in the building and then start waving people into the building and out another way so that they were away from the people that they were trying to get out of the building, separating them by the halves of the building, because there is the ability to do that. And so the cops that were saying, yeah, come in this way, go in. Yeah, come on in this door. They weren't doing it at all the doors. They were doing it at very strategic ones because they were outnumbered, and that's a strategy. That's what you would fucking do. It's like it's like an Infinity Wars.
Your fingerprints are all over, just like your fingerprints are all over Oklahoma City.
What? Oh, I see. The FBI made Timothy McVeigh blow up the building. Right. Now we're going old school Alex Jones. He's playing the hits.
You got caught red-handed in Fast and Furious. You're a terrorist. You're a criminal. You're an enemy of this country, Eric Holder.
It's amazing that he lives in a country that this dude where he can say that and it's not a problem. It's almost as if everything he says is total bullshit.
And you will pay when you are judged by God.
I think that's Obama, actually. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if God looked like him, though. You know, I believe God looks like a friendly face that you respect when you pass, to make it easy to transition out of physical form into the next dimension. And so who you see when you die may represent to some degree a being that kind of is a composite of people you trust and feel okay around, because it's got to be a lot to have the energy of your body torn out of every cell in your body. That's how ghosts happen. You got to be careful. And so when that happens in that process, as you pass into the great beyond for the, for your next round, as you continue to grow as a human being, the waypoint person that greets you, the spirit or whoever it is, might, I would not be surprised at all if mine looked like Obama. I'd be like, hey, I would take the fact that, I died at 175 and I wasn't ready to go and I was pissed about it. I would take it a little better if Obama was there to greet me. You know what I mean? How would you come on in? I'm going to have a sit down. I'd be like, this is fucking sweet. Are you really Obama? No, I just look like him to make you feel better. Oh, good. Okay, that's cool. All right. What's that screaming noise? Oh, if you go to hell, the person looks like Alex Jones. Weird. Thanks. Hey, Alex, you don't have to print the internet. Yeah, I know, Napa Valley Girl. That's fucking amazing, this dipshit. Hi, Leslie. I would hug him too. I don't know. My guess is that you would have tactile stimulation even still. I'm a big fan of defending your life. I'm fairly convinced that's what happens after you die. By the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. We did it. We got through a whole Alex Jones clip. Even the repetitive parts. Also, wait a minute. Did we? What the fuck is going on? I just noticed something. The screen went black. There was silence. And yet, 1752, 2158. This is the year where King George in 1752 decided to destroy the colonies, and 2158 is when we have colonized Mars and the colonies turned against the Earth. It's all coming together! Oh, it's a graphic. Okay, there we go. Oh, nope, there's more of it. Son of a bitch. No! Oh, that's an ad. That's why. He's wearing a different shirt. They're selling shit. Okay, yeah, that was the end of it. Fucking hell, there was like 3 minute. That's a 3-minute fucking ad to sell a Liberty or Death shirt. The fuck? Alex Jones was right about nothing. Fucking nothing. Although I think a Hal Sparks is right. Hal Sparks is correct. What Hal said. Just threw the big lightning bolt through it. We did do the whole clip. Thank God. Ugh. Like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Support the show in any way you can. Leave a comment below, because that's what they say you should do on the clips that I post and that kind of stuff. And then if you want to become a member, you can join on Facebook, where if you're watching there, you can join on YouTube there, if that makes it easier for you. Obviously on Twitch, we're trying to raise our numbers. We're at 1040. Good buddy. Come on now. Go on back. Come on down there, you sumbitch barrel of monkey nuts. Eastbound and down. 1040. Look at that.